All right, One Piece on Netflix. I'm doing this a little bit different because I don't have any background, right? I'm total noob when it comes to One Piece manga or previous anime or anything like that that's regarded to these characters. I wanted to tell you and give you sort of like my first impression. I'm 2 episodes in, and I think on the surface, one of the reasons you can tell this show is good is because YouTubers and the internet has not blown up with hate for the show because each character on the surface, it's sort of like the creators are challenging you to look beyond the packaging, look what's inside, look at what the characters actually are. So, for instance, when we see these characters and you see uh, orange haired Mary Sue, Hispanic lead guy, and Asian green haired guy, you start going, oh no, oh no. Let me give you some other examples here, real quick, as we start to kind of get. So this is Zorro. Now, Zorro is, um, I hate this site. I hate when they do that. Um, uh, Really, really stoic, interesting swordsman. And what you love about his character is he's kicking butt and taking names, but there's a backstory. There's more information. And we're not going to just rush to get to that. We're going to unpack some of that very, very slowly. Right. Um, this is the main character, Luffy. And I think with Luffy is the key to the show because the appeal to the show, which is basically like a Pirates of the Caribbean in a universe where there are supernatural and fantasy elements that kind of remind you of a lot of American cinema. So if you, for instance, Luffy has eaten this fruit, this demon fruit, and now he has this sort of elasticity, kind of like a Mr. Fantastic or a Mrs. Incredible, where he can stretch and modify his body. Like things don't hurt him the same way, things like that. None of that matters. The key to Luffy is he has this childlike desire to be a pirate because of who he admired as a child. And he has this incredible view of the world with like positive and interesting, aspirational looks at nearly everything. He's an encourager, he's a leader through positivity. It's a very, very interesting character, especially for one that's designed to be young. The show is also very clean for what it is. There's a couple of curse words. There's a naked butt, but that's played for like an awkwardness and a gag and a mocking of a character, not for any sexual innuendo or anything like that. Um, Everything's very, very mild. So this is very much a TV 14 type show. Um, this is the most important character I think that we can kind of analyze, right? Because we get to see her on the surface. This is what you felt like. Oh crap! This is like Cowboy Bebop all over again. Orange haired weirdo girl. She's the boss girl. She's in charge of everything. And guess what? We see all of that, but not to the detriment of the male characters, but alongside the male characters. She is not, she is, I want to say, short with Luffy, or I don't want to say mean to Luffy, but she's not taking his crap and how he sees the world through her eyes. Like that's how she sees it, right? Um, she pushes back against everybody. But there's a vulnerability about her, and it never come the writers do a great job of never doing any of that to the detriment of all of the other characters around her. So it's not as off-putting as it might be in other shows. This is what this show is getting right compared to other shows. Let me see. Let me stop for 1 second on my share just because I want to try to stick. I want to stick with certain characters and why certain things work and certain things don't work. Okay. This is very early on in the episode, and this was like one of those, oh no, kind of again. This is the are you going to give the show a chance type thing. And it's almost like the show is designed to push the envelope of how tolerant you will be for good entertainment. This is literally like off-putting, overweight, obnoxious lady boss pirate girl Alvida. she is horrible in every way, the stereotype, the trope in every single way. And guess what? She gets hers. It's not done in a way. She is oppressive, not someone that's supposed to be admired, if that makes sense. So you'll see photos or you'll see pieces of this, and you could be like, "Oh, I don't have it in me to sit through this again. I wouldn't want to watch." It's just not. Now, again, I'm only 2 episodes in. I'm sure she comes back into play. I'm sure there's going to be more of this, that kind of thing. Um, so this is the character that is sort of like Luffy's, I don't want to say mentor, but he's the person that his name is Shanks. He's a pirate. The first impression of Shanks we get is he's very passive. He's sort of come across as someone who's very opposed to violence. Then later on, we see him and his pirates in action, and we can kind of see a lot more of why Luffy would look up to him. Very much like a father figure type thing, but more of like the person you look up to want to be like an emulation rather than just like a mentor. So that was my take on his character as well. Okay, let me stop sharing again because I want to this preview article gets into characters that are either not much in so they don't have much of a presence or they're not significant right now. Um yeah. Okay, so this is probably the most important. Are you going to give the show a chance? Why is there not backlash? Those kinds of things. Um, this was probably the most challenging element of the show for me. This is character. Morgan Davies plays this character, Kobe, and we see Kobe as a deckhand for the Alvita pirate we just saw a moment ago. The off-putting, and he is just a servant. Now, I say he because it's clearly a transgender person, and it's so extreme with this itty bitty body type and this mousy demeanor. I actually thought this was a female character pretend to be a male character to be a pirate. Like it was part of the shtick. It was like I have to pretend to be male to be part of the pirate team. Come to find out, it's a trans gender actor that was born a female that is now a male, and that's what we have here. What's interesting about this is, again, if we were like taking some of this stuff at very high level or very superficial ways, we would find all of this show or a lot of these elements of this show to be very off-putting, the same old thing, and all of that. But what I find is the character is weak and easily intimidated, um, has dreams and aspirations, but they're disconnected and not joined well to reality. So all of that plays for the potential for a good story arc, rather than being some sort of plot armor and holier than thou lectures or anything like that. It's just not. It's just not done that way. So, I just want to give you a general idea of some of my first impressions in the show. I didn't really want to keep going too much further. It's just an adventure story. It opens with a pirate that dies, leaves One Piece, which is a nickname for that treasure. Everyone for 22 years has been looking for this. No one has it. Luffy's going to find the map. He's going to be king of the pirates. And he's always like, you're going to be part of my crew. I don't want to be part of your crew. Oh, you're going to be part of my crew. And it's like this adventure story. It plays fast, it plays fun, it plays loose. Uh, Everything is very interesting. There's a villain with an axe hand. There is the villain's boss basically comes into play, and he has like this bizarre giant snail thing. I was like, what is this crazy thing? I feel like we have like Gary from SpongeBob here with like a metal jaw or something. It was just everything is played for dynamics because One Piece is this I don't know manga with this like I don't know thousands and thousands of pages of lore and history and comics and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know much about all that, but I can tell you what, for a noob who just wants to be entertained and have a good time, it is achieving that. Is it derivative from the source material? Are we going too far? I don't find this woke at all. I find this a very almost like Wednesday, which has woke elements, but never derailing the plot. Like we might drop a comment or we might do something, and it doesn't take you out of the moment in Wednesday because you felt like that was the world they live in. Here, it's only because of how they present themselves. It's only about 'cause they have colored hair or they're fat or they're trans or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I don't care about any of that. I only care about the story. So if it's not derailing the story and it's not intruding on creating some sort of modern reference points, then it's entertaining. And I got to be honest, so far, One Piece is just that. So that's my take on it. I hope you're watching the show. And if not, that's fine. Enjoy it for yourself. Love to hear your thoughts on it. I appreciate your time watching. Thank you so much. I am Pops.
Yeah. Right? And I'm not playing no